I hope I don't get canceled. Don't cancel me. I love my life and my job. Not to make this about me, but it kind of always is. Oh my God. Are you mad at me? Hey divas, it's me. I'm smiling because I'm nervous. Where do I begin? If you follow me on Instagram, you know I've only posted a couple times about the nature of the world, and I have felt very hesitant to speak about it because I don't want this podcast to be political. I don't want this to be like, I don't want to, is it bad to say I don't want to be an activist? Like, I want to be a good person and a good human, but like, I'm not trying to die on that hill. This podcast is not a place where I want to like push an agenda. This is just a place where I want to be authentically myself. The elephant in the room, just like what the fuck is going on in America? I've been hesitant to like really go there and talk about it for three main reasons. The first being, I love how I'm like laughing. I'm like genuinely scared for my life. The first reason being, I've just started this podcast. Like every single day I'm figuring out what it is. And I have been enjoying it. Every episode has been like pretty different. I think especially because I just started this thing, I'm afraid that it might put me in that category. I'm like averse to being in a box. I'm a triple fire, obviously. And the second reason being, like, we're literally seeing people be silenced for saying what they believe and how they feel. And people on the internet are being so nasty, which brings me to my third reason. I am just seeing so much hate, so many like extreme views from both sides. And I've been struggling because I don't like the idea of contributing to a conversation unless it's productive. Like I've just seen just so much shit, just like people just being mad just to be mad, like no empathy or very selective empathy. And I've just felt exhausted and drained. And don't get me wrong, like, you know, I'm a silly girl. I love drama. I love a little cat fight, but not over like serious shit. It doesn't matter what you believe, what side of things you're on. What's happening in the world, specifically in America, has been weighing so heavy on my heart. And as I thought about all the reasons why I didn't want to talk about it more, like truly the main reason why I started a podcast was to be able to talk about things in a more open forum. And all of those reasons that I just mentioned are, when I started to think about it, really the reasons why I should be talking about it. And I really hope I don't regret it, but I just feel like, I don't know, like I don't think it's okay to be silenced. And that's why I'm empowered to like just share my POV. Truly, if you know me, I always am saying life happens outside of your comfort zone. And just using my platform at large is oftentimes feels out of my comfort zone. Like having these conversations with my friends or even like on my Instagram doesn't really scare me as much, but for some reason in this space and during this time, it's scary. And I don't know, like I made this podcast because I really want this to be a space where I don't feel like I have to justify how I feel. I really want this to be a space where people are forced to embrace nuance. I feel like nuance like doesn't fucking exist anymore in this world. And I really want this podcast to be a place where it's like you can make mistakes and be messy and not perfect. And like the people who consume this and that are in this space, I hope all know that is the point. And this is a safe space to be human. And being human isn't interchangeable with being hateful, which I'll get into. But I love living in LA, and I have friends that are different socioeconomic statuses, it's not really race. We're all the human race. Did you know that? We're all different ethnicities. Okay. I have friends of all different walks of life, and I love that. That's the point. I just want this to be a place that fully welcomes nuance with big fucking open arms. I cannot be more clear. I want this episode to be productive. I don't want to feel like I'm like piling on to hate that people already have in their hearts. I'm having conversations with people on both sides of the spectrum, and so many people are just so exhausted and tired. And so for that reason, like truly this episode is just me sharing my POV as to why this has been such a weight on my heart. If you're here and you're looking for like, who did you vote for, or some sort of like political statement or whatever, that's just not what this is. I just want to talk about me. because that's what the fucking show is about. And with that, let's get into it. So both my parents, we know this, are Olympians. I talk about this with other guests if you're new here. And God, I grew up being so proud to be an American, and I still am so proud to be an American, which is why I'm repping my little, what is this, like a brandy milk tank? Anyways, I remember after one of the Olympics, there was like a huge parade in Austin, and like we were just going around everywhere with the American flags. Like I've been to the London Olympics, I've been to the Beijing Olympics, I just went to the Paris Olympics. There is no better feeling than going to an Olympic Games and just being so proud of your country. That is something that has been instilled in me since I was a child. I think also my mom is an immigrant woman. Like she had no concept of higher education growing up. She was adopted. She had a woman that raised her who legitimately could not read or write. Her coming to America, her having the opportunity to run track and that being a vehicle for her to get a master's degree and to compete and have a career based off of athletics. And that's such a huge reason of why she gives back. And that coupled with my mom growing up would always look at me and my brother and she'd be like, oh my God, like, God, if I had the opportunities that you and your brother had, like I could not imagine where my life would be. And so I just always grew up so happy for the opportunities that I had and for knowing that everyone didn't have them. One thing that I love about her, which aligns with how she looks at the world, because life was so hard for her growing up, granted, I mean, this woman was like starved, all kinds of crazy things. That is why she has so much empathy for other people who are going through hard times, because she's like, it's not that deep. It doesn't need to be that hard. And I think that's why I get frustrated. And obviously this is where my bias comes in when like people have gone through hard things and they're like, well, I've done it, so you can do it too. You know, even though my mom has that mentality and other people don't, and that was instilled in me, both my parents are Olympians. That means like both of them were the best in the world at something. I was raised to be a fucking dreamer. It was like quite literally anything you wanted to do. My parents were like, okay, fucking work hard and prove to us you want to do it. Track and coming to America gave my mom an opportunity to change her life, change my dad's life. I wouldn't even fucking be here today without both of those things. And so because I love this country so much is why I believe it is important and essential to hold this country accountable. Like, this is a great place to be, and I believe that. I don't give a fuck what side of the spectrum that puts me on, but I grew up loving this place, and I am sad because I love this place. This probably ties into what I was saying about my parents and being dreamers, and you can do anything. Like, growing up, my mom and my dad used to always call me, "We are the world, Sierra," and I posted about this on Instagram. Like, ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted everyone to just get along. I think it is so important to be around different types of people and to be respectful and to learn from different types of people. Like, I remember we went to the Beijing Olympics and I went in a restroom and me and my brother came out. And we were like, oh my God, it was so weird in there. There's just a hole. And my dad was like, that is not weird. It's different. It's always been instilled in me to just embrace anything that doesn't necessarily align with what you know. And I don't know if it's naive or, you know, falsely ambitious and what I'm blinded by, but knowing how diverse my friend group is, knowing that I have so many people in my life that believe different things, the through line is like, everyone thinks this fucking sucks. No one likes the state of where we're at. And I am hopeful. I don't know based off of what, but I think maybe just based off of my heart and the heart of people that I know, and that, you know, everything doesn't last forever, but I am remaining hopeful. I'm not going to lie, even though I am having productive conversations and I know, or I believe I know people's hearts, the things that I'm seeing online are really scary and really daunting. And then it makes me think like, oh my God, like these people that I think I know, are they like getting online and saying this shit behind a closed door? This is really how they feel, or I don't know. It's all just like really shaking me, and it sucks. And clearly my algorithms are fucked and I've been on my phone too much. And that's kind of also why I'm making this, because I'm like, I gotta fucking put a flag down and move on with my life. I think this is part of the cleansing regardless of that, and I guess this is now going to get into a conversation about my faith, like, people are flawed. No one is perfect. I've had a very turbulent experience with my faith and with Christianity and with my relationship with God. When I was younger, I always struggled with the idea of you could be a Christian, but you could be, from my perspective, someone that was filled with hate or really judgmental and still go to heaven. Because I was in these predominantly white spaces. I was confused about my sexuality. I was constantly around people who were saying things that I genuinely thought were offensive. They made me feel really isolated and scared and outnumbered and crazy, which weren't necessarily things I talked about all the time, but I struggled with like people using this blanket or this vehicle that they were a Christian, and it was all justified, even though like they were saying things that were like, for lack of better words, like hurting my feelings. And clearly they didn't think they were being mean and hateful, but I remember I was dating this guy in college, first boyfriend, shout out, Kelsey, bleep that. He's married. He has 2 kids now. I also just made out with a guy named and if the new is here listening, text me, please. I always struggle with this idea of like, how are you in heaven if you do these things? And he was like, well, that's like the whole point. Like, people are flawed. God loves you, even though someone else might think you are a fucked up individual. And that can translate to so many different things. You not understanding them or liking them is a sin. Like, you hating them for not thinking how you do is a sin. It really just like opened up this idea of, God, you and me are good. And I know I'm trying the best that I can, and that's all I can be accountable for. So knowing that, coloring the picture of huge pillars in my life that have made me who I am, the sensitivities I have to being an immigrant, to my relationship with faith, the sensitivity I have with, people using God to mobilize, all of that. We gotta be fucking serious, you guys. No one deserves to be murdered. It's sad, and who I am as Sierra Chanell Patrick, I really just think that is so sad and so terrible. And then a week later for someone to comment on it and then lose a job, like, it's just scary, 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 scary times. There is a massive difference between having the right to say whatever you want and saying something hurtful. Where is the fucking nuance? There needs to be nuance. That is why it's like fucking killing me. I don't like people using the vehicle of free speech as an opportunity to perform hate speech. With that being said, everyone should be safe. And it's okay to hold people accountable and to call people out and to challenge them. And, there's so many clips and videos that I've seen where I don't know if I agree with having some of these really delicate, intimate, private conversations being monetized and then like glorified because some of the content is clickbait. Like, and I'm seeing it on both sides. Like, I'm driving myself insane because I'm like, where is the fucking nuance? Where is the through line? Because in my day-to-day life, most people are able to say, you can say whatever you want and be safe. And don't be hateful. And say whatever you want. Like, I don't know. Like I said, this is not political. This is just like human level, like vibing as a human, the energy walking around America. God, I want us all to get along. I just want us all to get along. And I work in entertainment. I'm a writer. It is so hard for me to empower myself on a day-to-day basis to be myself and to say what I want. And there's a project that I'm writing, and it's essentially about all of those inner deep thoughts that you have when you're alone in your room and you're isolated, and the freedom that you experience when you just share your POV and like you really connect with someone else. Like, that's the best fucking feeling ever. And I care about connection. I care about people learning and getting to know each other. And I don't even want to speak for anyone else, but knowing how I felt just coming on here today to just talk about my parents being Olympians and how great it was to grow up multiple times a year and like wrap an American flag around my shoulders. And I can't fucking wait to do that at the LA Olympics, and to know what doing that today would signal or mean, or how someone would see that. Just all so fucked. And I don't know what the solution is, but it's not staying silent. It's just not. It's just not. And I wish I had something more tangible to say than that. But I've heard so many people say that they're afraid to talk about these things, even with people they're close to. I had so many people tell me not to make this episode. That's like kind of the whole issue that everyone's having. Like, no one should be silenced. Your POV matters. Your experiences matter. Using those as an opportunity to connect with other people and to learn about other people and for that to make you a better person, like, that matters. I don't know if I've said this on an episode before, but I genuinely believe, like, the point of the human experience is to experience every single range of emotion, the highs and the lows, all of it. And, you know, every day is not going to be the best day of your life. And, you know, hopefully every day is not the worst day of your life. But, like, there are both. The past week has definitely been some of the bad ones, but there will be some good ones. And so, yeah. Again, this is not what every episode is going to be like. But every episode I will be authentically myself, and I will choose to sit in this chair and push myself out of my comfort zone by just sharing with the intention of connecting with people who want to connect. I will see you next week, and please, God, I hope I still have a job. I love how I'm so scared. Like, I know I didn't say anything bad, but you can never make everyone happy. I love you guys. If you are at this point still listening, that's fucking crazy. Love rocks. And I'm proud to be an American. And I'm going to hold you bitches accountable. Just fucking be respectful. Go out of your way to love someone that it's hard for you to love. And be yourself. Like, I feel like I can finally breathe. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.